Well, welcome back to the Fly Fishing Podcast. I want to show you how to tie my foam Hawthorn fly. It's a new fly for me this year. It involves using a dubbing needle or one of these extended body needles, and a little bit of foam, which is about 1 centimetre long. I fold that in two over the point of that hook, like so. It doesn't matter if it's not quite in two. Actually, that's an advantage when we come to tie it onto the hook. We're going to try and taper that end. So we wrap our black tying thread along, and then we try and take out those lumps. So we're tapering the body. We're just starting to make an extended body for Hawthorn. I'm just going to put a whip finish there very, very quickly. Tie that off. Well, there we go. We've got our extended body is made. I'm just going to take that off. So what I've done is I've taken that foam body and whipped it onto the top of the hook, which is a lightning strike emerger hook, scud emerger, size 16 hook. Very good hooks, particularly like them. They're retailed by Waspy and worth getting hold of. So that extended body will give a bit of flotation, and we want to take a little bit of black dubbing just to equal everything up, and we're going to take it towards the eye. And when we get to the eye, the other thing we want to do is build up a bit of a lump at the head. Now I also want it to be a little bit scruffy, which imitates the actual legs of the Hawthorn fly. Now we can either use a white or grey polypropylene for this. The actual Hawthorn fly, the wings are a clear or grey colour. But I found actually using a white polypropylene very, very helpful in terms of seeing the fly. You don't want too much. This is definitely a situation where more is less. Just whip down the wing on the top of the fly. That can be doubled over if you want to. It does give a little bit more flotation, and it also gives you a nice sighting for the fly. The thing about Hawthorn flies is the time of year they're actually coming off, you tend to get a lot of bubbles on top of the water, a lot of blossom as well from the Hawthorn bushes, and those all tend to be a bit white. Now what I'm doing here is I'm adding a bit more dubbing, so we've got a very, very pronounced head. I want to take to that a dubbing brush and brush it back, just so we scrub out the dubbing, and that gives the impression of trailing legs. And from there, this very, very simple thing is just to whip finish this hook, and the fly is finished. I usually give 3 quick whips or half hitches. Always feel 3 is far more secure. I don't tend to varnish my hooks. I might put a bit of wax on there, but quite frankly, after 15, 20 trout on a particular pattern, the pattern's fallen apart before the actual flies come undone, so it's well worth just not varnishing things. It's a bit quicker and out fishing a bit faster if I do that. Give that a whirl. This year olives, emergers, hawthorns have been the predominant flies. I've seen a few mayflies coming off, and we're talking about sort of the 18th, 19th of May now. If things warm up a bit more, we'll get a few more mayflies, but what's predominantly catching the fish's eye at the moment are hawthorns or olive emergers still. Given the world, fish are starting to rise a bit more at this time of year, and these are good stock patterns. You'll be able to fish this year in, year out, and throughout the season there will come up for this fly. Anyway, tune in again to Fly Fishing Podcast, and I'll keep you updated with how things are going. Tight lines now.